We are live after finally StreamYard was having resource issues. Trust us, we were going to be on. We were still going to be late, but we were going to be on. And we had to launch this thing for about 3 continuous minutes and couldn't do it. So, hey, that's all aside now. And this is Duluth Conservative, and we're going to go through a list of stuff that we found over the week. We're going to go through news stories you may or may not have heard and talk about them as we see fit. and we will take comments and questions as people have them as we're watching the stream. And I am ready to just go. You ready, Dave?
Yeah, it's got a lot of things to talk about tonight.
We got a big story up front. And this was breaking news. I don't even know how many people know this, but we do have the bill. The House has passed a bill that will give us an Office of Inspector General for combating fraud and just in general fixing some of the problems that we've had in Minnesota. Now, the funny thing to me is this didn't pass recently. This was, again, split down the middle, Democrats and Republicans, 50-50. This one apparently has passed with only 5 dissension votes. I still haven't figured out who it was that voted against it, but 5 people voted against it. So that's a pretty big bipartisan push for this office. I don't know what's changed, but I will go through. Let me go through and just summarize what this is. This bill creates a new independent Minnesota government watchdog called the Office of the Inspector General. Its job would be to investigate fraud, corruption, waste, and abuse in the state government, audit how taxpayer money is spent, investigate state agencies and programs, publish public reports, and recommended fixes where problems are found. So this sounds a little like Minnesota Doge to me. Only it's just focused on fraud and not on spending. But this sounds great. So the new Inspector General Advisory Council would appoint the Inspector General, oversee the office, and help protect it from political interference. The Inspector General would have strong powers, including issuing subpoenas, conducting investigations, referring crimes for prosecution, and investigating organizations that receive taxpayer money. The bill also creates anonymous whistleblower reporting systems, requires public transparency reports, moves existing state inspector general offices into one central office, and requires professional auditing standards. The inspector general will be appointed. It sounds like all these dates are in the past, so this might be an older bill or an older version of the bill that I got, but this is excellent. This is exactly what Minnesota needs to start getting through some of this fraud that is rampant in the state. And the Democrats in office, I'm not talking about the rank and file, the Democrats in office have been doing everything they can to stop any kind of investigation, any kind of prevention. They don't want that apparently, but now they've passed this bipartisan bill. So I don't know what the 180 is on this, but what do you think, Dave? Why do you think they just suddenly started supporting it?
They finally remembered what their number one job is, and that's to be reelected. Since fraud is such a huge thing, and the midterms are coming up, they couldn't say, "Oh, we were going to do something about it," and then the Republicans could just say, "Hey, no, we can prove to you, time out, you didn't want anything to have anything to do with it."
Yes.
Now they can say, "Oh, we put this bill in. Now we're stopping fraud." So right. They're back on the bandwagon of getting their job, getting reelected, keeping their power.
10 years now, almost 10 years, they've been on the fraud train. You know, this was being reported, and we'll talk about this a little bit in the stories. People were talking about this fraud in this state, and we're going to talk about Ilhan Omar in a little bit too. People were reporting it. Whistleblowers were coming forward, and they were getting just shut down by the state employees, by the governor's office. Ever since Walz took over in office, the state has been going downhill fast, not only with fraud, but education and taxes. But this has been an ongoing issue. And until we get this straightened out, nothing else matters, because this has been a floodgate of our money walking out the door, out of the state, out of the country. And that's taxpayer money that you and I have paid into. And that's for legitimate things. You know, we need government for roads and police and firefighters. That's the things that we pay for. What we don't pay for is being able to have somebody build a mansion in another country. So I think it's great. Office of Inspector General is what Minnesota needs. They finally passed it out of the blue. I didn't even see this coming. And I saw a couple of our local reps touting it, not Duluth reps, but Hermantown reps. So great job.
Yeah, I mean, every school is complaining about not enough money. Every business is complaining about not enough money. And they're watching their billions of dollars fraud itself out of the country. So it's like,
right.
Now we just saved the school system. Maybe now we can teach our kids again.
It would be nice, because they're less than 50% are at reading and math levels.
You're right. So without raising taxes, we can put more money into the school system by stopping the fraud. And this is hopefully it's more than just a start, just let's get this done with.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not just schools. It's everything in this state. The amount of money that's being wasted out of here, that should be a tax reduction for us. We're
Right.
paying so much in right now and getting nothing out of it that it's incredible. We need this. It is great, and we'll see what it does. So just because it got bipartisan support, and so much bipartisan support, makes me apprehensive about what was taken out of this.
Exactly.
Hey, we got a lot of people saying hi to us now, so I'm not going to individually say hi, but hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Please stay on. And if you have comments about what you want us to talk about, please let us know. It's good to have engagement. I want to talk about something that's been bothering me about Minnesota too. And this is the fact that it seems like Ilhan Omar is above the law and will never face any consequences. And she apparently seems to know it, and she's flaunting it. So they issued a subpoena against Ilhan Omar to come and talk about why she's showing up several times in a fraud report. And she appears at least 6 times in a recently resurfaced court document tied to the $250 million Feeding Our Future fraud scandal. So they asked her to come and speak, and she just ignored them. Just ignored them. So there's a fraud committee, and there's 7 Republicans and 3 Democrats on that fraud committee. And they need a 2/3 vote in order to issue a subpoena for her to come and testify. They're not the subpoena isn't to arrest her. It's to have her come and actually testify and answer questions about why she is named so much in these fraud investigations. And guess what? It didn't pass. If all the Republicans show up, it doesn't matter if all the Democrats vote against it, it passes. And guess what? All the Democrats voted against it. The 3 voted against it. And 2 of the Republicans didn't show up for it. So guess what? Incredibly, like always, by the slimmest margin, nothing is going to happen. And that happens time and time and time again around here. Not just Minnesota, nationwide, we see it. These guys break the law. And I'm not saying she's breaking the law. She's accused of it, and she needs to come and testify. So allegedly breaking the law, where is she? Why isn't she showing up? Why does she flaunt this? She's a politician. She is a servant of the state. She's not some big billionaire that can kind of flaunt that and disregard these subpoenas. She's a politician. There's easily consequences against her. She should be censured, and there should be a subpoena issued so that she will come and testify and answer some questions, not only about the Feeding Our Future. She's got a bunch of personal problems that have come up, right? She testified that she had $10 million in assets to $30 million in assets, and it's no, that was an accounting mistake. I only have $40,000 in assets. That's too big of a swing to just brush aside. That needs investigation. And remember, the IRS, and I don't think they're still doing this, but under Joe Biden, were investigating. You had to report anything over $600. The banks reported that to the government.
Right.
You take over $600 out of your account, you pay over $600 for something, the government knows about it. Now we've got a politician that has said she's worth $30 million, and now all of a sudden she's only worth several $1,000s. That should be ringing bells off the hook. But where is the investigation? I'm here to talk about it. Oh, you hear all these politicians saying, oh, that's bad, but they don't do anything about it.
Right.
Now, I'm tired of the 2 weeks that we're going to get her, it's going to be bad. Go after her or don't, and stop talking about it then. And just admit that fraud is rampant and there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, because she has to sign off on all of her paperwork, even to the state. She has to sign off on it. So she should have known you had a blatant error in that. It wouldn't take a genius 2 seconds to figure out, hey, something isn't wrong. Something's wrong here.
Yeah.
So she's responsible for it because she signed off on it.
Correct. Yep. Just like any CEO or when you sign your taxes.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the accountant did. You signed that. You are held accountable for it, no matter what.
Correct.
I don't
Obviously,
know how that works in political. I mean, she has to do all this campaign financing stuff too. I mean, the rigors we have to go for that, and how exact we have to be. How could she just get away with this? I mean, this should be ringing bells for her campaign as well.
Right, and she has to sign off on all of that stuff too, just like you have to sign off on for your campaign. It's just there's a responsibility level. And if I showed up and said, "Hey, we've got $20 million in donations," you're going to go, "Oh, really?" The bank account doesn't show that. It'd take you a half a second to figure out that something's wrong.
Right. All right. So those are our top 2 stories about Office of Inspector General and Ilhan Omar. But we also have another one that has to do with fraud. And it is from townhall.com. Jet ski, new home, food stamps. Minnesota business owner charged with SNAP fraud and tax evasion. The owner of an olive oil bottling company, olive oil bottling, I saw The Godfather. I've heard this before, has been charged with benefit fraud, tax evasion, and other crimes. Minnesota Department of Revenue announced that this Clay County Attorney's Office recently charged Christine Mary Conrad of Moorhead with 6 felony counts of filing false or fraudulent income tax returns, 6 felony counts of willfully failing to pay income tax, 6 felony counts of filing false or fraudulent sales tax, 6 felony counts of failing to pay sales and use tax, and 6 felony counts of wrongfully obtaining assistance. So what we have here is a non-politician being held accountable. So that's a good start. No, I'm not saying this is a bad thing. If she actually did it, she should go to jail. Great job. Now do some politicians. They can no longer be this ruling class. We got rid of the ruling class 250 years ago, and we don't need it now.
Yeah, it was funny that they tried to impeach Walter Hudson and that other guy for not showing up to a committee meeting. So are they going to impeach the 2 people that didn't show up to this committee meeting?
Apparently not. They're not even going to subpoena her to show up.
No. It's just we have a uniparty.
And what I was talking about earlier, we're going to put a link in the show after we're done. Former DHS fraud investigator discovers shocking testimony, says state agency harassed his team. And you should read this. This is an Alpha News article. And I don't want to go into the whole thing because it's too long, but it's a really well-written article. You can see what this guy is talking about, where any kind of attempt to report fraud or talk about fraud or make sure that people are being held accountable, they were angrily going after him and his team for doing that. They absolutely do not want this fraud investigated. So, Alpha News does a good job, and you should check them out. We'll leave that story with you in the comments as well. There, trying to get my lighting down a little better. This is just an ongoing problem.
That's better.
If anybody knows things about doing these podcasts and you want to help out, that would be awesome. All right. Last thing I want to bring up is the California debates. Have you been watching these at all, Dave? These California mayor and senator debates?
I've seen a whole bunch of them. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of them.
So I picked a couple of prime ones. Number one, California, Tom Steyer. And he's saying taxpayers should pay for the health care of illegals. So let's plop this one up and play it.
And remember, this guy's a billionaire.
On the question of health care for the undocumented,
I said everybody in California
so you would
has a right to health care. And let's answer
California
this out.
should fund that.
The truth of the matter is immigrants built this state. Immigrants make this state run.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is we had a broken immigration system, and now you want to victimize the people who are working here and making the state run.
Thank you,
As
sir.
Antonio said, try and get rid of them. You can't do it.
Let's go to on the question of health care for the undocumented.
So yeah, healthcare is not a human right.
No,
You can't have a human right that requires other people to work for it. And billionaires do not understand money anymore. When they get to be that age, it's all just free work. You know, he just wants to have the office. So he's just promising everything to everybody. But you can see, check out New York City, see how they're doing. They just got a mayor who promised everything to everybody. And it's not even 6 months in and he's in a disaster area. He's got no budget. He can't pay for anything. And they're going to go after the billionaires there. The other one is the LA mayor debate. And you don't have to play this because this is all it is, but it says, yes or no, should non-citizens be able to vote? Spencer Pratt, no. Karen Bass, it depends. And then the third woman, it depends. And it depends meant in local elections, sure, they should be able to vote. Yeah, well, no, here's the problem. They're not citizens of this country. They should not be voting for anything. They can go vote back in their country that they're from. They can't vote in this country. You give them that little toehold, it'll just keep moving up to, oh yeah, should be at least state elections, if not, maybe not federal elections, but they should be able to do state election. And then it's just federal elections too. And we've lost what the meaning of this country is. You can't have other people coming from other countries landing here 9 months pregnant, having a baby and having a U.S. citizen all of a sudden. You can't have them voting in our elections either. Otherwise, we don't have a country. And it is an attempt to really just take everything out of this country they possibly do and just lay waste upon this country because we're too powerful and they don't like it. And they want to spread it out to everything. So that's my rant.
No, it's true. They have already lost most of the Democrats, so they're basically importing more people to vote for them. And that's what it boils down to is the Democrats' one and only job is to get reelected and maintain.
Well, I'm going to tell you this too. They're not pulling them in to vote for them. They're pulling them in so they have the numbers so they can say they voted for them.
Right.
It's not who votes. It's who counts the votes. That's
correct.
All they do. So if they get the illegal aliens and they have those numbers, of course, this is why Joe Biden had so many votes, right? He had all these people in the country. Well, the most popular president ever, the person that's gotten the most votes ever in history. Do you believe it? I don't.
Not even. Yeah. And that's why the Minnesota Democrats voted down an amendment to get the dead people off of Minnesota voter rolls.
Right. It's unbelievable.
Because they want them to vote for Democrats. So that's how they do it.
Or they want the numbers so that they can have those votes for the Democrats. That's the only reason. You can't give me if you can come up with a logical reason that would convince me that we need to keep dead people on voter rolls, please, I'm begging you to tell me what that is, because it makes absolutely no sense to me.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Okay. I'm going to go on. We're going to go on to Duluth News. we don't have much. I wasn't able to really mine very much this week. So a couple of them. Duluth City Councilor Eric Forsman is employed as a data center lobbyist. So this is from the Duluth Monitor, and I saw the same article that you saw on Facebook, but they don't have anything on their site, which I pay for. So I pay for their website, and they don't have the article I want to read.
Yeah.
City Councilor Eric Forsman works for Minnesota Power, which supports a new Google data center proposed to be built. Of course they do. I mean, Minnesota Power is going to make oodles of money for the electricity they're going to use, right? Of course they're going to support it. Disclosures filed with the state show that Forsman and fellow Minnesota Power employees Stacy Green and Kate Van Daly registered as lobbyists for Minnesota Power in the second half of 2025 to lobby the city of Hermantown in the category of utility regulation. I do not see how a Duluth city councilor can register as a lobbyist legally or morally.
It's more legally, because I looked into it, and legally they can. Morally, they shouldn't.
No, they should not.
And this is the problem with it is, one, is he going to, because he knew about it prior to everybody else, is he going to financially make a gain out of this by trading?
Right.
And two, he's no longer representing Duluth.
Absolutely not.
So he's working for the Google Center to put money in his own pocket as a lobbyist. So he's not representing Duluth. He's morally it's way off base. Just way off base.
Right. I have a question for the Duluth voters. Will you vote for this guy again, knowing that he's a lobbyist for Minnesota Power and lobbying for a data center that in a city that is adjacent to Duluth? I mean, literally, you walk across one of the streets next to Costco, and there's Hermantown. Is this somebody you're going to vote for? Even if it's legal, do you want somebody like that on the Duluth City Council? If he's in the pocket of Minnesota Power and doing that, what do you think he's doing for the city of Duluth? You know, I don't trust a thing he's doing anymore at all.
And this is where politicians go after they die, is in the lobby center. If you look at Tim Pawlenty, ex-governor of Minnesota, he became a lobbyist in Washington, D.C., and he was reportedly making almost $1 million a year because now he's an insider. That's why these guys will want to be city councilors, not to represent the city, but to line their pockets in other ways. And lobby is a perfect way for them to do it.
Yeah. Let me editorialize just a little more too. We have a person who's a realtor on the Duluth City Council. And guess what? All the stuff that they support has to do with building brand new houses and shoving as many houses as possible into the city. You've got to look at people when you're electing them for city council or state rep. What's their job? What is their background? What are they going to be pushing? Because if they're not pushing for the people in that city, you know they're just pushing to get some more money in their own pockets.
Right.
And that's just not the way to do it. That's not the way this government is supposed to work.
Right.
And we have a new, as a lighter note, a new business coming to Hermantown.
I thought I'd put some
Jimmy
positive
John.
news in there every now and then.
So Jimmy John's is going into the Baskin Robbins location, or next to the Baskin Robbins location?
It's up farther past that. It used to be a store that sold golf carts.
Oh yeah, it's up the highway.
Yeah, it's over up by Pete Stauber's office. There's an small empty building. They're going to converting that into both a Jimmy John's on one half and a Baskin Robbins on the other.
Ooh, well, that'll be
good. So some positive news that there's actually a business coming into the area. So
yeah, well, you know, I bought my Tacoma through Kohler Hyundai, which was just up there on the highway next to Best Buy.
Yeah.
Well, I went to go stop in because I had to get some stuff done. And I drive in and they're gone. they're up the highway. They built this beautiful, huge complex up there. So Hermantown's getting the business, man. They're getting the dealerships. They're getting some nice buildings up. That building was luxurious. I really liked it. So good. They must be making money.
Oh yeah, and they're making sure the property taxes have doubled. My parents' real estate property tax, it went up 15% or something like that. So,
well, is that from the county or from the city?
I didn't look at it specifically, but the city was always really high. I mean, if that's he's a Wayne Boucher, the mayor. He's a tried and true Democrat, so he'll happily tax the daylights right out of you. So,
isn't this the same city council that's been pushing this data center on the people there?
Yeah, and they did what every chicken crap city council did. They tabled the vote from Monday so they didn't actually have to make a decision. So I don't see another decision until after the election. So
I've been reading more about people that have data centers, and there's some. I mean, the one in Hermantown is being dwarfed by some other ones being built in other places. But the neighbors are saying they have this constant ripple effect all the time. They're constantly, it's like almost like listening to a bass playing all the time. But my God, that would be irritating.
Oh yeah.
And their water and electric prices are skyrocketing. And if you don't have people looking out for you, and your representatives that are signing these deals, this is what you're going to get. You get what you vote for. All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Minnesota Legislature. So there's a bunch of new bills that have come up that have been passed. Any of these that you want to highlight, Dave?
No, nothing really stood out.
And it's not going to, because with a split house, you're going to get only very, very minimal bills being passed.
Yeah, I mean, and they're all pretty like HF 2971 was Kayla's Hope Act. It forces bridge developers to implement suicide prevention methods for the construction of new bridges.
Is that like spikes at the bottom? So it looks so horrible that you never want to jump, or what?
Yeah, or they put them so close to the ground that you jump off of them and you would hurt it. I don't know what they're. So everything here is pretty sublime, pretty
milquetoast.
Yeah, because you're not going to get. That's why we can go back to the right at the top of the show, the Officer General, whatever you call it,
Inspector
General. Makes you wonder, because everything here that's going to get passed is just total milquetoast, and now all of a sudden we have two parties agreeing to it.
Yeah, on fraud, which they have been adamantly, like the Democrats have been adamantly stopping everything that can investigate fraud. Yeah, that makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, just look at these. We'll put these in the notes, and if you look at them, you'll see that they're just blah. So you wonder how bad this Inspector General bill's going to end up at.
All right, let's move on to Tim Walz / Minnesota news. Minnesota DHS shakeup. Shireen Gandhi removed as commissioner. Governor Walz has removed Shireen Gandhi as the commissioner of the Minnesota Department of Human Services in an attempt to shore up leadership of the department. Gandhi is to stay with the department as deputy commissioner to focus specifically on safeguarding Minnesota's Medicaid programs. Walz is a lame duck governor, and he's still doing a lot of stuff. He's making a lot of decisions. He's shuffling things around. So I think it's a CYA move on Walz's part. He's trying to walk away from here so he can get his lobbyists and book deals and do all that stuff. So he's trying to get people out of the way that are going to cause problems and get ready for the midterms. So
yeah, but this lady, she failed at protecting the fraud in HSS, so they just moved her to lead another department. So fraud's going to get crazy in that department because she can't figure out how to fix it anyways.
There's no accountability in our government
Yeah.
in Minnesota at all yet.
No.
Keith Ellison came to Cloquet, and I didn't put a link in here, which is surprising because I do have a link for this. But Keith Ellison, the Attorney General for Minnesota, came, and one of his quotes was, "Is anyone here to fight fascism? I'm here to fight fascism. I'm here to fight me some fascism with you." Yeah, Keith, you keep thinking maybe one day you can figure out what fascism actually means, but I'm not sure you can,
Right.
because I think you really don't know what you're doing, do you? And why are people voting for this guy too? So hopefully we get a new governor, a Republican governor. It's either going to be Kendall Qualls, it's going to be Lisa Demuth, or it's going to be Mike Lindell. Probably those are the three big contenders right now.
Yeah.
I hope they can just clear out this state. And I have complete confidence in all three of them that they would do a good job. Having met and listened to each one, they all have their own things that they bring to the table. Lisa, hoping to get through this inspector general, that was a big move on her part. She's the co-head of the Minnesota House with another Democrat. I read too. Just got to shout out to our most loyal fans. She's waiting for me to screw up so she can laugh at me.
Yeah.
All right. Minnesota Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan slams the Lake and Riley Act as the audience cheers. You want to go and play this one?
Forward was for the Laken-Riley Act. It was one of his biggest priorities. It stripped due process away from immigrants, allowed for the indefinite detention of adults and children, and was the green light to give ICE unprecedented power to totally terrorize our communities. And I want to be clear that there is a straight line from the Laken-Riley Act vote to what we saw in the streets of our communities. And both of our U.S. senators, Amy Klobuchar and Tina Smith, led the way by voting against the Laken-Riley Act. Representatives Betty McCollum, Ilhan Omar, and Kelly Morrison, they all voted no too.
What a group of ladies. So a couple things that came out to me when I was listening to that. Whenever a politician says, "Let me be clear," you know the BS is going to start flying really quick.
Yeah.
And the other thing is they keep saying immigrants. They don't say illegal aliens. They try to tie in all immigrants, the ones who came here legally, went through the process, paid their money, paid their dues. They're not the same as the people who snuck in here. And the Laken-Riley Act is specifically about illegal aliens.
Yeah.
But they don't make that differentiation because they want to make it seem like you're against anybody who's an immigrant here, which is not the case. And she lists out all the people that are just the best, but Amy Klobuchar was one. So what is the Laken-Riley Act, Dave? I know what you're saying. Sean, what's the Laken-Riley Act? I don't know what it is. So let me explain it to you. The key provisions of this, and this was named after Laken Riley, a Georgia nursing student killed in 2024 by an illegal alien. Key provisions: mandatory detention. Federal immigration authorities must detain non-citizens who are arrested for or charged with certain offenses. And that's a differentiator from people who are convicted of them. If they're arrested for them, they have to hold them. They expanded the list of crimes, including theft, burglary, larceny, shoplifting, assault on a police officer, and crimes causing death or serious injury. It's broader than the prior law, and the state lawsuits are allowed. States can sue the federal government if they believe the immigration enforcement requirements aren't being followed. So this is what Amy Klobuchar has voted against, is people who are illegal immigrants or legal aliens in our country being detained when they committed a crime. They should be detained anyway because they've committed a crime coming into this country in the first place. So
Correct.
that's the justification for taking them into custody all the time. But remember, and always remember, Amy Klobuchar, Tina Smith voted against this. Ilhan Omar, Betty McCollum, Kelly Morrison voted against this. That's what you need to remember when you're going to vote.
Keeping you less safe.
Right. And speaking of less safe, DHS blasts Minnesota board for unanimously pardoning an illegal immigrant convicted of 3 assaults. The state's Board of Pardon unanimously voted to pardon a Laotian national with multiple assault convictions, a move DHS warned could block his longstanding deportation order. DHS said the Minnesota Board of Pardon's decision to pardon Chen Di could now thwart his removal from the U.S. So why? Why are they doing this? Why would they pardon this guy?
Yeah, and it mostly to make, for what the rest of the article said, is mostly to make it more difficult for ICE to get rid of him, to deport him, get out of the country, to make America safer.
Right.
And that's why the parole board supposedly paroled this guy, so he couldn't get deported.
They pardoned him. They didn't parole him. They pardoned him.
Right.
He has no crimes on his record now. It's insanity.
Yeah, I mean, how could you ever vote for another Democrat again? Because now they just put people on the street. You know, we got 2 huge examples of them making our state less safe.
Right.
And then they want to take away our guns.
Mm-hmm.
That's their big issue, is to take away our guns to protect ourselves.
Everything is designed to make you 100% dependent on the state, on the government for everything.
Yeah.
For your food, for your security, everything. You can't take your law in your own hands. They've and look at that law that is the basically flee for your life law.
Right.
I mean, if you have any opportunity to get away, even if somebody's charging at you and you had any way to go away, you have to do that as opposed to standing your ground. And so that means turning your back on somebody coming after you and giving them a target that you can't defend. But they don't understand that because they're protected. They have their own security. They're fine.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the Annunciation shooting, what came out of it? Well, greater security at the state capitol.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Anytime when they went after those representatives, boy, they really shored up the security at the Capitol, didn't they?
Yeah.
But they
nothing for anybody else.
They won't spend a dime to protect the schools. They leave them open as soft targets, and then they can push their stuff through when that, the idiots go and shoot the place up.
Right.
I did see an article, and I don't have it here, but somebody just bombed out of the whole lower section of a building. You take away the guns, you make it harder for them to get access, which criminals always have easy access to. You make that harder, they'll figure out the next big thing to do. Look at the Oklahoma City bombing. That was a truck full of fertilizer. That took out a lot of people. So there's always another way. National news. Hey, we're already on national news and even 45 minutes in. How do you like that? Somali Maine state rep, and I'm not going to try to say her name. She announced her number one goal in office is to surge taxpayer money from America to Somalia. Hopefully we will be able to help our country. And then she says our former country, Somalia. So do you want to play this one?
It was sitting there, death circling. So we'll see if I'll try it again and see if it works. So we might actually get this one to work. We might just have a internet problem again, but we'll see if this one works.
Yeah, if it doesn't work, we'll take it.
How can the politics in Somalia can be, resonate what we have here in the United States, the democracy that we have? How can you help us, be a better country and build back what we used to have back in long time ago? So hopefully we will be able to help our country, our former country, Somalia, and policies. How can
So that says it all. We should be able to help our country, our former country. We could get us back to where we used to be at our country. Why are people like this being elected? I can only think of fraud. There can't be, this cannot be happening in this country. Nobody would vote for these people. Why would you vote for somebody from outside the country to run your country? If they're so good, go back to your own country, run that.
Yeah, fix your own country.
It's insanity. Let's see. Ooh, this one's a tough one. Foreclosures hit highest level in 6 years. Data shows nearly 119,000 U.S. properties had foreclosure filings in the first quarter, up 26% from a year earlier. Rising costs related to insurance and property tax bills. Yep, it's gonna happen. You've got people with higher interest rates. These house prices are insanity right now. Not many people can afford them. It's going to be it has the potential to be a housing crisis like we had before in 2008.
Yeah. And I thought this is a good story based on one of your, what you're working on as far as a politician would go, would be to 100% get rid of property taxes. This is what's causing that, is people for getting their houses foreclosed because they can't afford it, because they're paying capital gains on on a asset that they unrealized gains on an asset.
Correct.
Yeah. So I thought this was fitting right to go right down to what you're going to try to do in office, is get rid of property taxes.
Yeah, it's a good data point for sure.
Yeah.
Do you remember our next story? So watch the next story. The guy that was offering free beer for an assassination of Donald Trump. Well, he got visited by the FBI or the Secret Service. So when they visit them, they give them cards for them to call. He doxed all those numbers. He puts out all the numbers of those guys out on the web. So they're going to get inundated with calls by his supporters. This guy should be broke. Hopefully his business collapses because people stop supporting him. And he should be going to jail. I mean, really, this is solicitation for an assassination. I don't see any way around it.
And he's also decided to run for governor of Wisconsin.
Yeah, well, I would say that's...
Can you do that from jail?
I'd like to find out if the Michigan one can find out first. That lady.
Yeah.
Or Walz, too. He can spend his last couple months in jail for what he did during COVID, putting the people with pneumonia or with a virus in nursing homes with old people. That effectively killed them. That's murder, in my view. They did it here. They did it in New York. They did it in a couple other states to get the numbers up so they could cause a pandemic, a scare.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you can live with yourself. I don't know how Walz can live with himself having done that, knowingly killing senior citizens.
Well, he has no soul to him, so.
Not the last news. Another news story. Chicago politician says Walgreens should be charged with first-degree corporate abandonment because they're leaving their neighborhood that is so crime-ridden they can't stay in business. So this place is losing money from shoplifters. I think they are breaking their front windows all the time. They're crashing through and stealing stuff. And go ahead and see if you can play it.
My name is Doug Heimos.
Never mind. So yeah, you get the link. You can watch the ad if you want to. And then, let's talk about this one, Dave. This one, I see you stuck it in here, and that's good.
Yeah.
LA City Council passes a bombshell move against cops in a unanimous 14-0 vote. This is in Los Angeles. Lawmakers move to rein in the traffic stops. A routine tool officers have long used to pull drivers over for minor violations and probe for bigger crimes. Under the new framework, minor violations alone are no longer supposed to open the door to a traffic stop unless there is a clear and immediate public safety risk. So they no longer allow you to pull people over. It's as if they were in on the crime themselves. Not saying they are, but sure seems like it, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, just think what Bloody Mary Moriarty did. She did basically the same thing. Is she said, you can pull somebody over for something, but you can't check them for anything else.
Oh, that's right. Even if you see it, it on their front passenger seat.
Yeah, you could have 70 pounds of methanol sitting on your front seat, and the cops in Bloody Mary's district can't do anything about it.
They could have an open beer sitting out there.
Right.
They could have a weapon sitting out there, and the cops cannot do anything about it.
Unless you're white, because they did arrest that one white kid who had a gun in public, and they did arrest him.
Well, they got to arrest somebody. So
he was a white male, so that's okay. So it's racism, but when she does it, it's okay. So
she's very selective on her policing policy. They used to call that systemic racism within the government. I guess that doesn't count anymore.
Right.
Representative Pramila Jayapal. I've seen this woman before. I don't know her name though.
She's part of the squad, isn't she?
She is one of the squad members. She announced that she has been working with foreign countries to supply oil to Cuba in defiance of President Trump. So a couple problems with that. You can't do that. Yeah, you'd have no authority to do that. And that is going against an embargo that we have against a foreign country. It's feeling a lot treasony to me. That could have severe consequences for her if they ever held anybody accountable for their crimes in government.
Right. Yeah, which they won't. So
I see just you have a image up that somebody beat a 77-year-old man in Seattle. Police ID'd him thanks to the street video cameras, and the Mayor Wilson, this woman, said CCTV puts refugees at risk. That's an odd thing to say.
Yeah. At the Ahmed Osman and his buddy seen this guy walking down the street, the 70-year-old, and beat him into the hospital. And they caught the second one is still on the loose. And she comes out and wants to get rid of the cameras so that the cops can't protect citizens. Because obviously they put refugees at risk.
Right. Which is just the oddest thing to say.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Maybe you should play this one if you can. John Kerry I cannot believe this argument he's making, but basically what he said is the First Amendment is stopping us from policing what's happening in this, what people are saying. And therefore we need to abolish the First Amendment so that we can save the First Amendment. I can't even do the math in my head on that one.
He doesn't even look alive.
And it's part of our problem, particularly in democracies, in terms of building consensus around any issue. It's really hard to govern today. You can't, the referees we used to have to determine what's a fact and what isn't a fact are kind of, been eviscerated to a certain degree. And people self-select where they go for their news or for their information. And then you just get into a vicious cycle. So it's really, really hard, much harder to build consensus today than at any time in the 45, 50 years I've been involved in this. And there's a lot of discussion now about how you curb those entities in order to guarantee that you're going to have, some accountability on facts, et cetera. But look, if people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick, and, has an agenda, and they're putting out disinformation,
Like CNN.
our First Amendment
Yeah.
stands as a major block to the ability to be able to just, hammer it out of existence. So what we need is to win the ground, win the right to govern by hopefully having, winning enough votes that you're free to be able to implement change.
This guy is insane.
Yeah.
So basically what he's saying is once we get enough people voted in, then we can just stomp all over all your rights. No problem.
Yeah.
And the people there aren't even disagreeing with him. They're not even pushing back on him at all. Some of them are agreeing with him. It's insanity.
Yeah. I mean, what makes the country great, and he's trying to get rid of it for his own, so he can govern better.
Yeah, because
he
it's
can
hard
tell
governing
you
them.
what. Yeah.
Anytime a politician says, in the 40 or 50 years I've been doing this, you've been in way too long.
Right.
Go away now, John. Take your toupee and go away. We don't have to put this one up. You don't have to display this one. I just want to go over the story because I thought this was the funniest thing I read all week. And it doesn't have anything backing it. So this is just a tweet. And it says, a group of more than a dozen dwarves has reportedly raided the Church of Scientology. I have not heard anything since then, but I thought it was the funniest headline I read. And of course I'm imagining it in my head. That's the better part.
Well, I mean, Tom Cruise is part of Church of Scientology. He's basically a dwarf, so.
Yeah. Come on, little Tom.
That it might be true, but it doesn't make much sense. So hopefully we'll have to follow up on this one.
I really want to find out that there are a bunch of angry dwarves that are attacking Scientology.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to pop up a thing as we go to international news. I'll pop this up on the screen.
Yeah.
There is an article that says people are now implanting technology into their systems. So Sweden implants microchips into thousands of people to replace IDs, credit cards, keys, and wallets. I have a question for anybody watching. Would you do this? Would you have something implanted on you so it's easier for you to have your ID and credit cards on you? Personally, my answer is ain't no way.
Not a chance.
No way I'm ever going to do this.
No.
They're going to have to hold me down and plant it forcibly if it's going to ever happen, because I'm never going to do that myself.
And there will be ways for me to never to block it, so it never actually works.
Yeah, it won't work long as soon as
No.
I get out of range.
Of course, this is like Idiocracy, isn't it? Where they have the
tattoo,
to pay for everything.
Right.
Same principle.
Yeah. The chips are designed to speed up users' daily routines and make their lives more convenient. Accessing their homes, offices, and gyms isn't easy as swiping their hand against a digital reader. It's also that easy to shut it off, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
To lock you out, to take all your money away and give you no way to do anything.
Yeah.
He says they're actually more difficult to hack than many other data sources because they are stored beneath the skin. I don't think so.
There's a
and
will, there's a way.
The last international news story. As desperation grows, Iran considers deploying explosive dolphins against the U.S. blockade. I've heard of this before, where they strap, explosives to a dolphin, train the dolphin to go up something and it blows up. What kind of person would do this? Who would actually be able to strap an explosive on an intelligent creature like a dolphin and have it go up against a boat? You'd have to be one sick puppy.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for PETA or anybody to, we can probably take this off. PETA or Greta Thunberg or somebody to go, go to Russia and tell them how they're wrong and see if they can do anything about it.
Yeah, that
Like
obviously wasn't Greta trying to shoo the dolphins away from the shoreline. So
right. Let's move on. Unless you have anything else, Dave, we're going to move on to health and fitness.
well, I mean, obviously they can do it to dolphins because Iran's a Muslim country. They'll gladly throw a gay person off of a roof. They'll gladly treat women like 5th class, 7th class, 10th class human beings. So to see them do this to an animal, I mean, even in New York, they want to ban dogs from going outside because the Muslims don't like it. So,
well, yeah, well, we're supposed to be importing that all here, I guess. I mean,
yeah. So to kill a dolphin, that would mean nothing to them. So,
somebody's insane.
Yeah.
All right, I'll move on to health and fitness now. If you are, so we do this segment to try to promote people to be healthy, to get out and walk around, or get up and move, or do squats, or do whatever you can in your house. And it's very important for people to stay mentally and physically active. So that's what this segment is typically about. But sometimes we get stories that are disturbing. And I'm going to put an image up, or you're going to do it. It's called bone smashing. So scroll down a little bit. Somebody takes a hammer and smashes their face with the idea that they can produce better cheekbones.
Yeah.
It's an interesting story that I linked because it said, typically smashing your face with a hammer is not a good idea. Typically? Typically. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. No, I don't think so. So, people do this. They do these things on TikTok and then they get some views and then people go off and do it. If you take a hammer to your face, you've got a couple problems you can cause. You can cause permanent damage to your skull. You can crack it in ways that you're not going to like. You could give yourself brain damage, give yourself a concussion. You could activate your trigeminal nerve. Do you ever want to do that? No, you do not. No. If you don't know what a trigeminal nerve is, look it up. You mess with that if there's 3 nerves on each side of your face. There's people that I know that have problems with this, and it is excruciating. And you could, if you hit yourself in the wrong place in the face, you could activate that, damage that nerve, and have severe pain the rest of your life.
Yeah.
This is not worth it. So unfortunately, you have to say this because I don't know, Dave, when we were growing up, would you ever have to tell somebody not to hit themselves in the face with a hammer?
No. We know what the difference between a man and a woman was at the time. Obviously, that's changed too. So,
well, the funny thing is, if you mentioned you wanted to hit yourself with a hammer, you would get a blow to the face.
Yeah.
Usually, an open-handed slap, but still, what are you doing?
Yeah, if you want better cheekbones, go to plastic surgeon.
Yeah,
they'll put a little thing under there or do whatever, or inject you with some more fat or something. I don't know. They'll do something. Skull. Yeah, they're not going to smash your face with a hammer, even though you might deserve it.
My goodness. Yeah. All right, next thing. These 2 stories go together. These are last things in health and fitness. President Trump has nixed Michelle Obama's student health program and restarted the presidential fitness test at U.S. schools. And he's also reinstituted a presidential fitness test award. So those are these 2 stories. So when we were going to school, I remember, all right, we'll put this one up because I like this comment. They meant I totally agree with you. People smashing their own faces. I mean, geez. But anyway, the presidential fitness class or thing, when we were going to school, I think it was Schwarzenegger did this big presidential thing with George Bush, right? And that was to get people out and get motivated. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, because, he was the big fitness guy, big bodybuilder, looked good. That's what we need to get back to, is get people more interested in being physically fit. I see the kids out when I'm out near the university and the schools. They look so dang depressed. Out wearing a black hoodie. A lot of them are overweight. They got the hood up. They're hunched over. It just looks so sad to me. They're in their prime of their lives. They should be out, showing us how to run, showing us old folks just how much energy they have. And it just looks so sad to me. So I hope this sparks something. We get some kids in competition so that they can actually go off and do physical fitness, get more physically fit, be healthy, be happy, and be better looking too.
You just feel better too. Mentally,
Yeah,
physically, everything will be better.
Right. Okay.
I can't put those articles up there advertising the death out of.
That's okay. Now we'll just link to them if you want to see them. Go ahead and look at the links. And that is it for our show, except for Dave's word of the day. Dave, take it away.
Based on one of the laws that they did pass, and what we're in a session and they're talking about the laws. The word of the day is actually coercion, which is coercion involves compelling a party to act in an involuntary manner through the use of threats, including threats to force against that party. It involves a set of forceful actions which violate the free will of an individual to induce a desired response. Well, isn't that what a law is? How come they're exempt from that?
Well, no, laws coerce you to do things. Absolutely, that's what it is.
Yeah, so they changed the law for coercion, which was strange because that's all they do in our legislature is create through force, through the police state, through jails or fines, threats to make you change your ways. So I guess I'm having a problem with the coercion law versus the regular laws.
Don't think about it. The higher ups are doing this, Dave.
Yeah.
Our betters are making the laws. See?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. On that, we will end it.
Yeah.
Everybody, here's a shaka. Hang loose. Be happy. Be good to people. Try not to be a jerk. Try at least. I mean, I try all the time. I don't always succeed. You know that, Dave. But I do try. Any parting thoughts, Dave?
Nope. We're end this one on time.
Nice.
For a change.
All right. Well, we will now play out, and I will say I am Sean.
I'm Dave.
And this has been the Duluth Conservative, and we will see you next week. Thanks for coming out.